Today I will show you an activity, parody, blood and gore movie from 2015, named I Am a Hero. Spoilers ahead. Keep an eye out and fare thee well. Hideo Suzuki, a manga craftsman collaborator, is attracting with his colleagues and office. Paying attention to the news, a journalist is portraying an occurrence in which a canine seriously chomped a 45-year elderly person. The police couldn't sort out what precisely happened in light of the fact that the lady began blathering after the mishap. The following report is around a 35-year elderly person who was captured in view of performing vulgar demonstrations. One colleague sees how the news is becoming peculiar and Mitani, a collaborator, ridicules Suzuki and manga craftsman. Suzuki then, at that point, makes sense of how manga is the pinnacle of Japanese culture and that it's a distinction to be a manga craftsman. He spurs the other associates. Also, everyone shouts manga is awesome. Night comes and Suzuki gets back. In his loft, he sits in front of the TV with Teiko, his detached forceful sweetheart, and draws. He takes a gander at his manga grand. Furthermore, inspirational statements like, "The Steve Jobs of manga world and the way to manga is cruel." Suzuki searches for motivation for his next comic, so he takes a rifle from his pantry and checks out himself in the mirror. In the first part of the day, everyone is wiped out and hacking at the distributor's office, where Suzuki is showing his new manga comic about a macho person safeguarding his sweetheart with a rifle. The distributor could do without the comic, says the hero is excessively ordinary and tells Suzuki to improve from now on. Then, at that point, another manga craftsman, Senzi, sees Suzuki. Teacher is more well known than him yet shared the novice manga craftsman grant with Suzuki quite a while back. Later in his condo, Suzuki is battling with Teiko who needs to sell the rifle so they can get in any event some cash and pay lease. She likewise needs to sell his honor alongside his manga books. Teiko is tired of Suzuki's disappointments and his unfulfilled fantasies about turning into the following best manga craftsman. So angrily, she says a final farewell to him and removes him from the loft. Suzuki then goes to the recreation area with his weapon and starts checking Senzi's comic book out. Sitting close to him is a vagrant who is shaking and seems as though he is in torment, yet Suzuki doesn't pay any exceptional consideration. The following morning, Suzuki is in his office with his colleagues, drawing and watching the news once more. There is a report about another disease that has proactively killed 4 individuals. Suzuki's partner is perspiring and not feeling great. She leaves and Mitani makes sense of to the others how she got the infection from Senzi. Mitani sees how she had a similar indentation on the neck as Senzi, and that is the means by which he sorted out they were resting together. Their supervisor goes into the room and he likewise has an indentation. They are confounded and get some information about the cutoff time, however don't see his eyes getting more obscure. Afterward, everyone is sleeping at the workplace when Suzuki's telephone unexpectedly rings. Teiko apologizes for the previous evening and needs to proceed with their relationship. While chatting on the telephone, helicopters disregard the city, yet Suzuki is too centered around Teiko. What's more, doesn't focus. Once more, he quickly goes to Teiko's level, bringing her number 1 bite. What's more, implores her to open the entryway. No one responds, so he has a go at calling her on the telephone. Suzuki talks through the letter opening and sees Teiko lying on the bed. Abruptly she gets up, making unusual developments, and drops on the floor. Before we know it, she's having a seizure while her body transforms unnaturally, similar to an evil presence during an expulsion. As she moves toward the entryway, Suzuki sees her face twisted. Zombie Teiko assaults Suzuki and chomps his hand. While attempting to move away, he coincidentally wounds her in the head and leaves the loft, quick. As he's intersection the scaffold, he sees a lady with a draining hand and afterward many planes flying through the city. At the point when he gets back to the workplace, Suzuki sees Mitani remaining close to the TV with his back turned. Suzuki believes he is a zombie also, however, at that point sees him holding a horrendous home run stick, so he unoppressively enters the workplace where the remainder of his associates are dead zombies and Mitani is the main survivor. He advises Suzuki that the best way to kill zombies is to obliterate their cerebrums and that the individuals who get bit get contaminated. In any case, ends up, Mitani is nibbled as well, and when he begins transforming into a zombie, he commits suicide, shouting that the period of come up short on specialists has shown up since all their supervisors are currently dead zombies. One more tainted collaborator shows up and Suzuki rapidly leaves the workplace. In the roads, around 50% individuals aren't even mindful of what's happening. Some are strolling nonchalantly down the road while others are running. Inside a couple of moments, individuals begin understanding that devilish-looking zombies are among them. Begin to run while others succumb to the eager zombies. Suzuki frantically approaches a cop, yet the police officer is a zombie as well and starts pursuing him. Suzuki is taking off as quick as he can when out of nowhere he tramples a huge gathering running in one bearing. Vehicles are chancing upon one another, city structures are consuming, and individuals are getting run over by emergency vehicles. In all that wreck, Suzuki sees a taxi driver who's dozing in the taxi and is totally ignorant about the zombie end of the world. Prior to entering inside, Hiromi, a secondary school understudy, approaches him. She needs to get into the taxi too, yet a zombie talking on the telephone assaults them. Suzuki envisions he's taking out his rifle and focusing on the zombie. So he's standing frozen shooting with his fingers, all things being equal. Simultaneously, a man in a suit needs to take their taxi. They begin to beat on the vehicle windows and fortunately figure out how to get into the taxi as indeed training the driver to head toward the open country. On the feline TV, the news reports the assaults as a prose. Clearly no one has replies. So they change to Tokyo TV and see an anime animation being communicated. Suzuki thinks Tokyo is protected in light of the fact that they are showing anime, yet soon the channel closes the animation and starts revealing the assaults. As they are watching, the person in the tailored suit is chatting on the telephone, teaching somebody to shoot everybody, even the head of the state, if essential. At the point when he hangs up, he begins grumbling about poor people and out of nowhere uncovers a chomp on his arm. His veins rapidly become dark. He is transforming into a zombie while saying, "Hello needy individuals, give me a tissue." The cab driver doesn't know that the money manager is transforming into a zombie, so he gives him a tissue. The new zombie then, at that point, messes with him and afterward grumbles about poor individuals meet quality. The driver opens the vehicle entryway and Suzuki figures out how to push out the zombie. He threatens to shoot the Ura with a rifle if they don't let Hiromi go. The leader then points a gun toward Hiromi, who's silently standing there. Nobody suspects that she can kill everyone in an instant, but she can't stand it any longer, so she throws the two guys off her with one single movement and then reveals that she is a ZQN. Since she's only half zombie, her eye is not black but has rainbow colors. The leader doesn't care, so he shoots in her head and Hiromi falls on the floor. They take Suzuki's rifle while he cries about the girl's death. They start kicking and punching Suzuki while he begs for forgiveness. Soon, they start fighting about who's going to kill him. Seems like even humans want the taste of blood. Everybody starts fighting each other, and soon Ura is overthrown by someone else. They leave Suzuki alive and he finds Tsugami in front of Hiromi's tent. With the help of Abe, she hid Hiromi, who's still alive. Tsugami explains to Suzuki how Hiromi is not like the other ZQN because she has a pulse. She also tells him how ran away from her duties and left her patients alone in the hospital. Admiring Suzuki that he saved Hiromi. Suzuki still sad because he couldn't pull the trigger on Ura and because he lost his gun. He thinks he's a coward and a loser, but Tsugami tells him that he's just a good person. Suzuki then apologizes for being a human without any good qualities and asks Tsugami to take care of the girl because he has to go to the food storage with the others. Later, a few survivors are hitting pans to draw the zombies' attention to the roof while the others are heading toward the underground food storage from the other part of the building. When they arrive below the building, everything is dark and one of them makes noise by mistake. While they are walking, someone turns on the lights, but nobody questions this. They immediately find the storage, but little do they know, somebody is looking at them through the security camera. As they are packing food, the mysterious observer turns on music in the outlet. And soon a zombie attacks one of the survivors, searching for a snack too. They shoot both the victim and the zombie but find that the parking is filled with other zombies. Suzuki runs last, apologizing for leaving to one of the people who's being eaten alive. Because of bad tactics and the selfishness of the survivors, most get eaten and killed in the parking lot. And the guy who caused all of this is none other than Iura, who turned on the music on purpose to attract the zombies. Turns out, he had another plan, to take the only car in the parking. In that chaos, Suzuki hides in a storage locker. At the same time, the zombie who can jump high is stalking the roof, preparing for one big jump. He runs really fast and jumps as high as he can, landing right on a tent. One of the survivors soon notices the zombie starting at her and freezes. The zombie eats her and instantly attacks another woman, squashing her head with his bare hands. Iura is looking at security tapes and enters a passkey, allowing more zombies to enter inside. Suzuki is still hiding when he hears on a walkie-talkie that a zombie killed almost everyone. On the rooftop, Tsugami is scared to death on the roof where she's hiding with Hiromi, so she desperately asks for help on the walkie-talkie. Nobody answers cause they are either hiding or being eaten. Suzuki is still hiding in the locker, going through scenarios in his head about escaping and killing the zombies which surround him. But in every hypothetical situation he ends up being killed. His fear and imagination are getting the better of him, so he decides to stay in the locker, but he hears Tsugami crying on the walkie-talkie, reminding him of Hiromi. He knows he must overcome his fear, so he starts yelling and gets out of the locker. Suzuki immediately gets attacked by a zombie that bites him. But luckily, he is wearing 10 Rolex watches on his wrist, and the zombie doesn't infect him. Suzuki then takes the walkie-talkie and tells Tsugami he's on his way, but the two of them decide to meet at the parking lot and take one of the cars. As Suzuki is fighting zombies with his clever tactics like putting rice on the floor so the zombies slip, Tsugami is carrying Hiromi on her back going toward the parking lot. When she arrives, he finds Iura, who wants to make love with her and leave Suzuki behind. But Iura is also bitten, so he quickly turns into a zombie. Tsugami starts running with Hiromi on her back, but luckily Suzuki comes and saves them. He found the rifle and blows Iura's brains. Soon after, they see a large group of zombies chasing after Ali. The survivors get surrounded by zombies and nobody knows what to do. But Hiromi starts talking for the first time, telling Suzuki how feels okay when she's with him. He then gets motivated and starts shooting as much zombies as he can. In the end, only Suzuki, Hiromi, and Tsugami survive. They manage to kill all the zombies, except the athlete zombie who jumped on the roof. There is only one bullet left, but Suzuki manages to shoot the zombie in the head. Since the zombie's head is already squashed, he doesn't get affected by the bullet. Instead, he goes right toward Tsugami and Hiromi. But the hero doesn't give up, so uses the rifle like a bat, and this time destroys the zombie's brain for good. The three leave the outlet, surrounded by a river of dead zombies. In the car, Tsugami lights up a cigarette and turns on music while Suzuki is wondering whether he'll turn into a zombie himself. And after all that, still doesn't think he's a hero. He takes steps to shoot the Iura with a rifle in the event that they don't let Hiromi go. The pioneer then, at that point, directs a weapon to Hiromi, who's quietly remaining there. No one suspects that she can kill everybody in a moment. In any case, she can't stand it any longer, so she tosses the two people of her with one single development and afterward uncovers that she is a ZQN. Since she's just half zombie, her eye isn't dark, however, has rainbow tones. The pioneer couldn't care less, so he shoots in her mind and Hiromi falls on the floor. They take Suzuki's rifle while he cries about the young lady's passing. They begin kicking and punching Suzuki while he asks for absolution. Before long, they begin battling about who will kill him. Seems like even people need the flavor of blood. Everyone begins battling one another, and soon Iura is ousted by another person. They leave Suzuki alive and he tracks down Tsugami before Hiromi's tent. With the assistance of Abe, she concealed Hiromi, who's as yet alive. Tsugami clarifies for Suzuki how Hiromi isn't like the other ZQN on the grounds that she has a heartbeat. She additionally lets him know how to go from her obligations and abandoned her patients in the clinic. Appreciating Suzuki that he saved Hiromi, Suzuki is as yet miserable in light of the fact that he was unable to pull the trigger on Iura, and in light of the fact that he lost his weapon. He believes he's a quitter and a washout, yet Tsugami lets him know that he's simply a decent individual. Suzuki then, at that point, apologizes for being a human with no great characteristics and requests that Tsugami deal with the young lady since he needs to go to the food stockpiling with the others. Afterward, a couple of survivors are hitting Skillet to cause the zombie to notice the rooftop while the others are making a beeline for the underground food stockpiling from the other piece of the structure. At the point when they show up beneath the structure, everything is dull, and one of them commits commotion by error. While they are strolling, somebody turns on the lights, however no one inquires this. They right away find the capacity, however much to their dismay, someone is checking out at them through the surveillance camera. As they are pressing food, the puzzling spectator turns on music in the power source. Furthermore, soon a zombie assaults one of the survivors, looking for a nibble as well. They shoot both the casualty and the zombie, however observe that the stopping is loaded up with different zombies. Suzuki runs last, saying sorry for passing on to one individual who's being eaten alive. In light of terrible strategies and the narrow-mindedness of the survivors, most get eaten and killed in the parking area. Furthermore, the person who caused this is in all honesty, Iura, who turned on the music deliberately to draw in the zombies. Ends up, he had another arrangement to take the main vehicle in the leaving. In that tumult, Suzuki conceals in an extra closet. Simultaneously, the zombie who can bounce high is following the rooftop, planning for one major leap. He runs super quick and hops as high as possible, landing right on a tent. One of the survivors before long notification the zombie beginning at her and freezes. The zombie eats her and immediately goes after another lady, crushing her head with his exposed hands. Iura is seeing security tapes and enters a passkey, permitting more zombies to enter inside. Suzuki is as yet stowing away when he hears on a walkie-talkie that a zombie killed nearly everybody on the roof. Tsugami is terrified to death on the rooftop where she's stowing away with Hiromi, so she frantically requests help on the walkie-talkie. No one responds cause they are either stowing away or being eaten. Suzuki is as yet concealing in the storage, going through situations in his mind about getting away, also killing the zombies which encompass him. Yet in each speculative circumstance he closes up being killed. His apprehension and creative mind are getting the better of him, so he chooses to remain. In the storage, however, he hears Tsugami crying on the walkie-talkie, helping him to remember Hiromi. He realizes he should conquer his trepidation, so he begins shouting and escapes the storage. Suzuki quickly gets gone after by a zombie that messes with him. Yet, fortunately, he is wearing 10 Rolex watches on his wrist, and the zombie doesn't contaminate him. Suzuki then, at that point, takes the walkie-talkie. What's more, tells Tsugami he's coming. In any case, both of them choose to meet at the parking garage and take one of the vehicles. As Suzuki is battling zombies with his smart strategies like putting rice on the floor so the zombies slip, Tsugami is conveying Hiromi on her back going toward the parking area. At the point when she shows up, he finds Iura, who needs to have intercourse with her and abandons Suzuki. Be that as it may, Iura is likewise chomped, so he rapidly transforms into a zombie. Tsugami begins running with Hiromi on her back. However, fortunately Suzuki comes and saves them. He found the rifle and blows Iura's minds. Before long, they see a huge gathering of zombies pursuing Are. The survivors get encircled by zombies and no one knows what to do. In any case, Hiromi begins talking interestingly, let Suzuki know how feels alright when she's with him. He then, at that point, gets persuaded and begins shooting as much zombies as he can. Eventually, just Suzuki, Hiromi, and Tsugami make do. They figure out how to kill every one of the zombies. But the competitor zombie who hopped on the rooftop, there is just a single slug left. However, Suzuki figures out how to shoot the zombie in the head. Since the zombie's head is now crushed, he doesn't get impacted by the slug. All things being equal, he goes right toward Tsugami and Hiromi. However, the legend doesn't surrender, so utilizes the rifle like a bat, and this time obliterates the zombie's cerebrum for good. The three leave the power source, encompassed by a waterway of dead zombies. In the vehicle, Tsugami illuminates a cigarette and turns on music while Suzuki is contemplating whether he'll transform into